Hi, Elena. My name is Ellen, and I will be correcting these essays for you. Let's take a look at what you've done here in your first set. We've got schools and if they should be more entertaining. Let's see what you wrote. Whether education should be more enjoyable or mainly based on academic lessons, it is still a matter of controversy. I strongly believe that if schools focus more on entertainment, pupils could learn the most relevant skills for their future working career. In the following paragraphs, I will justify my personal opinion through examples from academic surveys and national reports. Okay, for the most part, I really like this. I think it's good. You had a clear position. It's related to the topic, so that was good. A couple of things I would change here just to make it a little more natural. So, okay, you had an extra word here. So you need to get rid of this comma and this it, because this whole phrase here is your subject. Whether education should be more enjoyable or mainly based on academic lessons is still a matter of controversy. You understand? This whole phrase is your subject, so there's no it required. And then I didn't like future working career. That's not a really natural expression. You could have just said their future career, okay? Or their professional career. That makes more sense. It's better collocation than working career. And the rest of it is fine. So let's see what you said further down. On the one hand, I believe more entertaining scholastic projects are associated with a faster learning process and a boosted creativity. Nevertheless, first and foremost, these activities allow students to enhance their capability to collaborate due to the fact that entertainment means social interaction, which is essential to develop the ability of working in a group. For instance, a recent analysis from Harvard University demonstrated, after a follow-up period, that pupils who had participated in entertaining programs developed better collaborative qualities than those who refused to do it. Therefore, more enjoyable activities are essential to reach a good level of cooperation in the future workplace. Okay. All right. I really like this, but let me tell you what was a little problematic for me. Let's look at the beginning of each of your sentences. On the one hand, nevertheless, first and foremost, for instance, therefore. Do you see what's happening here? Every sentence is beginning with a front position linker. And I might not have noticed it if this one wasn't incorrect. Nevertheless, was used incorrectly. Um, One of the things you need to know about these front position linkers, and by that we mean it's linkers that start the sentence, is that they are the hallmark of a band 6 for coherence and cohesion. They're considered pretty intermediate. Higher level cohesion is less obvious, it's more fluid, and it doesn't really stick out. Okay, these do. So I want you to avoid using them in every sentence. All right, that's the first thing. I thought the paragraph was very good other than that. Let's continue. On the other hand, there are convincing arguments in favor of the traditional thesis that the sole purpose of school should be to educate. Thus, sustainers of this idea advocate the fact that entertainment ought to be confined to leisure or extracurricular activities. This is largely because it has been proven that a full academic education enhances young people's acknowledgement. What do you mean? What do you mean their acknowledgement? I don't understand that. For example, the Italian ranking has shown that the best prepared students are those who attended institutes solely based on academic lectures or lessons. Consequently, traditional systems seem to prepare our children better. Okay, change your word order here. Now, I really want to talk to you about why this paragraph is concerning to me. In the following paragraphs, I will justify my personal opinion. I strongly believe, etc., etc. But in the following paragraphs, you did not justify your personal opinion. In the first body paragraph, you justified your opinion. And then all of a sudden, you threw in this whole idea of why academic only schools are good. So this to me was completely unexpected and had absolutely nothing to do with what you said you were going to talk about here. And so that's a problem. It means that there is not a logical flow of your ideas. It means that there's stuff that we were not prepared for. You basically threw us a curveball, and that's not a good thing. You see, when IELTS examiners read your essays, they want to know where they're going. And that's why what you write here is so important. You're basically telling us where you're going to take us. You're telling us where you're going with this essay. So anything that kind of uh, goes astray from that is really very confusing. Okay. So this paragraph for me was all wrong. If you really wanted to talk about both sides, there is a way to do it, but we have to talk about it. It should not be I strongly believe, etc., etc. It should be while there are certain points in favor of academic only schools, on the whole, I believe that if schools focus more on entertainment, pupils would learn the most relevant skills for their career. If you did that, this would have been okay. But then, if you notice the way I structured the sentence, this paragraph should have come first, this paragraph should come second. And that's a good rule of thumb. The side that you believe should always come last. The side that you don't support should come first. But again, you really have to indicate this in your introduction that you're going to do this. Because when I read your introduction, I was like, okay, there's 2 paragraphs about why Elena strongly believes this. And there weren't. There was just one. So that was confusing. Okay, let's go to your conclusion. In conclusion, although the level of our children's, I don't know why you keep saying acknowledgement, it's the wrong word, is one of the main elements with an S here through which we judge the quality of a scholastic system, I strongly agree that school spelling should be the field where young people, through entertaining activities, learn the essential skills for being good workers. In fact, during the working meetings, young people are expected to be evaluated for their collaborative skills rather than for the preparation, history, and maths. Okay, I like this, but I think here you were going off topic. You didn't need all of this. Just get rid of it. I think that this would have been fine. Okay? In general, you don't need to spend a ton of time on your conclusion. You really just need to restate your position, restate your main idea, your what you said in your introduction, and then just leave the reader with a thought-provoking idea, prediction for the future, what have you. Okay, that's really it. So really nice writing, but definitely some things that I want you to work on in terms of writing skills. Okay. Let's take a look at the enjoyable task with a child now. Okay, so doing an enjoyable activity with a child, let's see what you said here. It has been frequently argued whether playing with children boosts creativity more than reading. I believe that both these hobbies enhance a creative mindset, but in a different way. Thus, I simply agree that both of them could exert a beneficial role on the adult's imagination, and I will justify my position using specific examples from academic surveys and people's reports. All right, a lot of people misunderstand this question, and I'm very concerned that that's what you did, that you think that it's about the adult gaining more creativity and skills, but it's not. It's about when you do something with a child, an activity, the child develops more skills and creativity. Let's see what you wrote. Yeah, that's what you thought. You thought it was about the adult. Yeah, we're not interested in the adult skills. We're interested in the child skills. So you framed it incorrectly, I'm afraid. But let's see what you wrote. On the one hand, doing enjoyable activities with toddlers or children brings people back to a childish, intellective creativity. You don't need all these commas. That usually, yeah, a lot of commas here. That usually during adolescence and adulthood is progressively replaced with a more rational way of thinking. Nevertheless, Harvard University has recently demonstrated, thanks to lab experiments, that adults showed a mental plasticity tenfold higher after 6 months of babysitting than previously. These are only preliminary results because the study is still ongoing. Yeah, you don't need this. You don't need this sentence. Let go of it. However, other interesting outcomes are expected. Yeah, you're not, look, it's an essay. You're not expected to quote studies. I mean, sure, quote them, but very briefly and then move on to what this means. All right. So we don't expect you to recite lots of research findings. Okay. So this for me was plenty. All right. All of this. And then what else could you have said about it? Maybe, I don't know, something else. But still, again, the point is that, oh, also you talked about mental plasticity, you talked about creativity. What about other skills? Do are other skills gained? Okay, so obviously here I'm acting as if this is on topic. It's not on topic, but remember that you're supposed to be talking about creativity and skills. So let's see what you said. Therefore, up to date, the so-called intellective imagination definitely seems to benefit from frequent contact with children. Okay, well. Why is there an on the other hand? Okay. On the other hand, there are convincing arguments that reading is the best leisure activity to boost main vision. Okay, it's not just about creativity, it's about skills. This is due to the fact that books allow people to imagine their characters' physical traits or the places where the plot takes place. For instance, a plethora of people refers that, okay, wrong word, refers. And then plethora is a word that people usually use incorrectly, so I tend to advise to avoid it. It's a lot more natural to just say, for instance, many people state that at the end of the book, and you don't need all these commas, please. So, for instance, comma, many people state that, no comma, at the end of the book, still no comma, they're perfectly able to thoroughly describe details of the protagonist's face or landscapes, even if nothing has ever existed. Therefore, this hobby reinforces the main visual imagination. All right, so again, this is my point. You didn't talk about skills, just creativity. Is it about creativity? Yes, but it's also about skills. So it's only half developed, okay? In conclusion, I strongly believe that playing with a child and reading books are essential for intellective and visual creative skills, respectively. You don't need a respectively here. You don't need it. Given that the former, which skills, the intellective, are not superior to the latter and vice versa, in my opinion, both these leisure activities enhance in a similar way different sides of our creativity. Okay, it's beautifully written, Elena, but I think you understand where it got off topic, where it went off track, and what needs to be done. I think your writing is very good. I think you need to limit your commas because you definitely overuse commas. And the problem with that is that in English, commas signify a visual stop or a visual pause, and so it makes the lead reader's eyes kind of slow down, and you don't want that. You want your text to flow. Yes, there are places where commas logically belong, but I felt like you definitely overused them. But be aware of, again, I realize that the language in this task might be a little confusing, but yes, it was about the skills that children gain, okay, not adults. So I'm looking forward to your next set. I hope you found this helpful. Let's see more work from you, okay? Good luck.